And we are live. So immediately make that face. You ruined the first 5 seconds of recording.
Yep.
All right. How's everybody doing? We are back for another episode of Sloth and Money, live and uncut. As always, I'm your gracious and beautiful co-host, Sloth, and here's the man of the hour, Mike Money, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting over the flu, finally.
Yeah, that really was interesting, because you never get sick.
And I had a temperature of like 103 going to work.
It was rough for a minute there. Like, you never ever get sick, dude. But me and my girlfriend, fiance, if she hears this, me and my fiance, we usually do a an annual sick tournament. And whoever gets sick the most, which is always her, because she's anemic, she's frail, she's just a really meek woman. I love her with all my heart, but even she will admit she's more prone to getting sick than I am. And last year, it was pretty close, though, because I ended up with the flu. I think I won. She got sick like 7 times. I think I was sick 6. It's been rough the last couple of years. It's getting worse. I think I'm starting to become more prone to sickness than her.
For the first time in my life, I had the flu December this year, probably. Yeah, it was right during Christmas time. A lot of because I'm tired.
Well, that reminds me, like, about 2 years ago, I had the flu. I was working at Radio Shack at the time, and I think it was, like, Christmas Eve. I had to call out. I was legit sick. They probably thought I was fucking around, but I was so sick. But I had to do all my Christmas shopping, like, literally the last day. So I went out to Walmart on Christmas Eve with the flu, and I got all the gifts. I'm standing in line with, like, an RC truck, and, like, there's just snot coming out of my nose. My face is all messed up.
That's the
like,
worst.
I have eye crust. And people are like, what the fuck is this guy? And I know they're talking about me. I'm just standing in line like, come on, let's go. I need to get out of here. It was rough. So, getting sick is bad, but especially around the holidays.
I actually enjoy the feeling of being sick, because I know it's weird because everything smells different, and there's nothing expected of me. I can just lay in bed and enjoy my illness most of the time.
You know what, though? Like, when I get sick, I look forward to taking NyQuil.
That's my drug of choice as well.
But the thing is, you, like, never take medicine.
I know. That's the thing. I hate taking any kind of... Even if I have a headache, I refuse to take ibuprofen or Tylenol or BC headache powder or whatever it is.
Remember when I was not sick and I would usually partake in the NyQuil every day? But that's another story for another time.
You mean when you used to be addicted to pills?
I had a problem. That is a fact.
That's not even a fact. That's
life,
that's
man.
truth, yeah.
I would just come home and just trip and play Halo and listen to
that's the life, though.
Dude, it was. I would come home, I'd take like Tylenol PM, I'd listen to Tiesto or Metallica, and I'd play Halo for like 6 to 7 hours.
Go to bed, wake up, go to school, come back.
You know, you have an issue when you're coming home from school. You're getting home from school like 2 o'clock, 2:40. And you start taking sleeping pills as soon as you get home at 2:40, but then you don't intend to go to sleep. You just want to play Halo? So, I don't know.
Well, we are 3.5 minutes in here, so what are we going to have on our plate for today? What are we serving our fans?
Today's main topic is S&M go to the movies. We're going to start doing this.
Whack-Ass Wednesdays.
Whack-Ass Wednesdays. Brought to you by Cinema Cafe in Hampton. There's a cheap plug for you. You know what they need to do is...
not have the place be full of vomit.
And tear it down to the ground. Oh, we'll get to the vomit. They need to tear it down to the ground and put air fresheners every 3 feet because it always smells like piss.
I don't notice the smell, but I was also very ill.
Well, my height of sense of smell for piss is like super high. This stuff, I don't know. I keep like thinking about the smell of piss as I'm thinking about it right now. But all right, when I was a young kid. When I was a young pup and I was a complete asshole.
A grizzled young vet?
Yeah. Another Christmas tale. We would take... I'm not naming names or any other people that would do this.
Just we.
Well, you know, I mean, if, say, for instance, I had cousins and a brother that would do this, but I'm not outing them. But enough time has passed where the statute of limitations for getting grounded at this point is far, far exceeded its limit. We would take stuff, what do they call the Christmas ornaments, and the ball ones, we would crush them. I don't know why we would do this. There's a lot of things that we used to do in this living room that we were never supposed to do. We would take the ball ornaments off the tree and put them under the rug and crush the ornaments, right? And then, like, ornaments every day would go missing. I don't think anyone noticed. But how do you not fucking notice ornaments off of the tree every day dwindling down like they're, like, cancer patients? And
I'm pretty sure they noticed. They just didn't want to.
they're freaking... They just kept one by one biting the dust every day until it was probably just like a candy cane and some string on the tree. But we would take the ornaments, crush them under the rug, and which reminds me about the piss, because, hey, don't ask me why, but we would piss on the ornaments as they were in pieces under the rug. So my sense of piss is heightened at this age of 24 because I've been introduced to piss in weird situations since I was about 5 years old. Did you ever piss on Christmas ornaments under your rug, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
I
I don't think anyone ever would do that. Dude, I could probably every week we should have tales from my living room because I've got them. But
Go ahead.
no, I don't want to share any more tales from my living room today. But today we're talking about
Tales from the living room.
Yeah.
Do. Oh, sorry.
Hello, creepers.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some salad fingers.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be talking some movies today. I saw Fast 6. Together we saw Man of Steel. I saw the Twilight final movie. I don't even remember. Was it New Moon Part 2 or
Yeah.
something? Was that really it?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think was it Breaking?
I don't know.
It was
I'm messing.
legit. Let me ask the 12-year-old girl inside of me. What was the final Twilight movie? And let me just rub my picture of Taylor Lautner. Breaking Dawn Part 2. You saw Wreck-It Ralph?
I saw Wreck-It Ralph, but I refused to give a good review of it. And by good review, it was a great movie, but I just couldn't go in depth because I didn't want to give it spoilers. And I had saw it like 3 weeks prior. So.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, if you've never seen Fast 6, Wreck-It Ralph, Breaking Dawn Part 2, or Man of Steel, this will not be the show for you. So we're going to be talking about that. But before we started to record tonight, we were in the backyard doing what we've been told not to do our entire lives. We are huge wrestling fans, and before the start of every show that WWE puts on, they tell you, do not try... It used to be, I don't know if you've noticed this, it's very subtle, because people die. It used to be, don't try this at home. Have you noticed the change?
Is it don't do this at home?
Don't try this. Period. It's just, don't try this.
Don't try this.
That's it. It's no
They're
more
trained professionals, blah, blah, blah.
It's not even... It does that. It shows that.
And then it shows the clips of people going through ladders that are made of wood.
Dude, Sheamus went through a wood ladder the other
I know.
day.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You can see the sawdust coming out.
Yeah, and people lose their stuff. But,
Their stuffing falls out.
Fella. 1-800-fella means I just went through a wooden ladder. But, yeah, so now they've changed it because I think just like last month or probably 2 months ago, someone else died, and now they're like, oh, well, someone died, but it's not our fault. Let's change this. Scratch that bullshit out. Don't try this. Ever, anywhere, it doesn't matter. However, we've never taken heed to anyone's fucking advice. I know I, for a fact, don't, which is why I thought I was going to be paralyzed. About a half hour ago, we were out in your backyard. I don't know. I was trying to do an Oklahoma roll, and it went terribly wrong. I did it the first time perfectly to a freaking T, and then I decided to overthink it, as I often do with many things in my life. And what did I do? My head hit the ground very hard. I heard a in my neck, and everything went white for half a second, and I thought I was going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. For half a second, I pictured the rest of my life being pushed around in a wheelchair, being fed Gerber food, just having everything, all life's luxuries, swept away from me because I wanted to practice Oklahoma rolls in your backyard at 10 o'clock at night. And then everything came back. And then I could see again, and then I didn't have anything wrong with my limbs. The light came back, and the first thought was, holy shit, dude, everything just went white for a second. It's terrifying. So, when they say don't try this,
They mean,
still do it.
They mean, yeah, do it, just don't blame us.
Yeah.
That's what they mean.
And, like, if you're going to listen to this right now, I guess we should have some disclaimer. If you're going to do it, you didn't hear to do it from us. But if you get hurt, that shit's on you. Because I'm not up here right now crying and saying, oh, I landed on my head, everything went white, I thought I was going to be paralyzed.
You were like, I landed on my head, that shit was cash.
And you know what we did? I shook it off, and I got up and I did it again.
And we still continued to train for an hour.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear anyone say shit. When Triple H tore his quad, did he say, oh, I'm done? No. He finished the match. Twice. He tore his quad, finished the match. When Kevin Nash tore his quad, did he finish the match? Actually, no, he didn't. But that's not the point. The point is, how many other times in your life have you just messed yourself up and you thought something was really bad with you?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Go into some detail, because there was something you were talking about before the show, and I was like, I'd never heard of this.
I mean, doing them to myself. One time, I had to go in at 8 a.m. to where I used to work at a pizza delivery service. I don't want to name the business. We'll call them Pizza Place USA.
That's fine. I named Radio Shack because I haven't gotten into disparaging stuff about them yet. That would be a later
Fuck it. Marco's Pizza.
Whoa.
The dirt worst shithole.
Whoa.
On this planet.
Best cheesy bread on earth.
Oh, the cheesy bread's the food's delicious, but the rest of it's. Anyways, I had to go in at 8 a.m. on a Friday, put up the truck, do inventory, blah blah blah. Busy day. 8 o'clock comes around, and they have the absolute worst general manager I've ever worked with. Oh, I'm sick. I need to go home. I have problems with everything in my body. Everything's falling apart. Boo, 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 boo. Vic, can you close?
The stories of nonsense that came out of that place from the upper management are legendary.
My grandmother died, but she died last week. No,
a ladder went through my house.
A ladder went through my house, but she's okay. I like her. So anyways,
I mean, I hope if she's listening to this, you're a cool person. I've never met you, but I want you to know that ever since the ladder went through your house, for all intents and purposes, to me, you've been known as Ladders McGee.
So anyways, they asked me to close after getting there at 8, and we're not getting out till 2 o'clock in the morning because it's Friday. I had closed the night before and opened the previous day, so I'm not working 2 open and closes when we have available people. So I go into the walk-in, and I punch a rack as hard as I can. My hand then swells up. The bone in my hand is swelling. Like, I still have bone raises in my fingers to this day because I decided to punch that rack. And that's one of the instances where I thought I really fucked myself up.
I remember a time that you were bleeding you cut yourself when you were washing dishes there?
Someone put a knife in the sink, and I cut the connective piece between my thumb and pointer finger, and I was bleeding profusely. Someone also left a tomato slicer in the dish water, so obviously you can't see, and the tip of my finger was lacerated.
Dude,
thankfully I got off work the next day.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't have anything that crazy. I mean, there's been some stupid things I've done. Like, one time I closed the garage door on my hand, and my hand didn't break, but I went to the doctor, and they took x-rays of my hand, and my hand was fine. But the coolest thing was I had to wear, like, a splint on my hand for, like, a week.
You were like D-Lo Brown?
Yeah, I had, like, a chest protector for my hand. But the coolest thing, though, legit, I didn't have to write anything. Like, I got out of doing, like, so much work and homework that week because I just milked my injuries. And, I mean, that's not the first time I did that in school. I mean, anytime I can milk something, I'm going to be milking it. One other time, and, like, everything in my life is wrestling related. We went to KB Toys, and I had to get this Kane and Kurt Angle Jax-specific action figure.
You had to?
Had to get it. And it cost me, like, $20. I used my allowance. And I blame myself for this happening, but this could happen at any time. In my mind, because I got this Kurt Angle and Kane action figure and was at KB Toys for an additional 10 minutes, we got into a car accident as this old man who was drunk off his ass with 3 other old people T-boned us in my mom's Chrysler minivan. So I had to go to the doctor again, and I had to wear a neck brace. Well, I didn't have to wear a neck brace, but to keep up the image of, hey, let's milk this, I wore a neck brace. So I wore a neck brace to school, and again, I had an easy week that week, needless to say, in 5th grade. I didn't have to do much in science. So, I mean, dude, there's been a time together when, thank God we were okay, but at the time, you never know how things could have gone when we got...
My leg.
No. When we were in the car accident.
That's my leg.
Oh, your leg. I see.
Remember, because my leg hit the dashboard.
That was
and to this day, my shin is still swollen.
for real.
Yeah, it's not normal size.
Never got back.
No, it's never going to be normal size. It's harder now though.
Well, that's
my
good.
shin got harder because I ended up hitting my shin, and once again the bone swole, and they gave X-rays. They're like, yeah, it's just going to be a little bit big for a while, but there's no fractures or anything.
I remember you calling me from the hospital, and that pretty much that accident like solidified our best friendship. But what happened was,
I think we should go into depth of how.
I love how this is supposed to be about movies.
It doesn't matter.
Even if we never get to the movie discussion, we'll get to it at some point. And come on, it's us. We'll talk about it. If we give you something, if we promise something to you, we're gonna give it to you. All right? But legit, we just I hope to God
Anyways,
my dad never listens to this.
Continue
episode.
the story.
Right. Well, we would. I would skip. Sometimes in school. I mean, there was one time I skipped 9 weeks, but that's not the point. I would skip some classes and still graduate on time. But I would skip and come with you to your house because I would give you a ride home sometimes because I don't want you to always have to take the bus with the low-life scoundrels. And some of them are listening to this. You know who you are.
Kerry Moore was on that bus.
Dude, remember that time he cut off his toe?
Yes.
That guy is insane. He's a legend.
We got to tag him in this.
Please do. Kerry Moore, the time
Dude, he said he got it on with Miss
Langley.
Yeah, like the beauty queen that won the pageant.
I used to sit next to this kid.
I hope he did.
He used to tell me some outrageous stories, and some of them I want to believe, and some of them I don't. The one that he cut off his toe with the lawnmower, I tend to believe, and the one that he had sex with the supermodel for Langley Speedway, I kind of don't believe. But if he did it, kudos to you, my friend. He always reminded me of Mikey from Recess a little bit.
He was awesome.
He was. I love Carrie. Sorry, Carrie. I love you, bro. I hope you're doing well. We'll tag you in this. But back to the story. I would skip a lot, and I'd bring you home, and we had the great idea to take, because it was like 2007, and the height of our stupidity was growing because we didn't have like steady jobs, and we had some money, and we could act dumb, and we had a lot of free time, and slam ball was kind of a thing at the time. It was trampoline basketball. And, because that's logical. So we had this mini tramp in the backyard, and I'm not naming names, but I know a couple mini tramps. No, for real, we had this mini trampoline in the backyard, and we would jump off of it and try and do dunks onto your rim and your hoop. And I don't think we ever did anything really cool or successful. But one time, as we were en route to your house to do our slam ball, we came to a red light. We stopped. We were listening to a mix of Billie Jean by Michael Jackson and Eminem Without Me, or I don't even know the mix. It was a weird mashup. But as we got the green light with not even thinking, I decided to go right away. And as I started to go, wham! Again, we were T-boned. Well, I was T-boned. This time we were T-boned by another old woman who never gave a single fuck, honestly, that she T-boned us. She hit us and then she started smoking. But while the cops were there, she started smoking. This was an insane crash because it happened on one of the busiest roads in the entire city. So we got hit on the side, and I almost went to shock. I was so concerned about you. I don't remember if this is true, but my memory recalls that we got hit and your door didn't open.
Yeah, my door didn't open.
Did I have to pull you through my door?
How
did we get you out?
I was trying to open the door because we hit the car beside us.
That hit another car. That hit a cop car?
Yes.
A cop car was already on scene at the point of impact.
So what happened was my door wouldn't open, and you were grabbing my shoulder, and you kept saying, "Come on, get out, get this way, get out this way." And I looked at my door in slow motion. I looked back at your door, and I looked down because I felt my leg hit, and my shin was just no, you're not walking on me today, buddy. So I had to crawl across the center console, obviously, and crawl out his door. And we're standing outside, looking at the car, looking at this old bitch, and I noticed somebody running towards me. And I was like, "Who's this guy running towards me? I know him." My uncle, out of nowhere, my uncle came over.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember that? Yeah, my uncle came over from Jiffy Lube. He's like, "Yeah, my truck's getting worked on. I just saw y'all got here. You guys all right?" "Yeah, I'm good." "Well, that's good to know. Well, I got to go back to my truck now."
That's insane.
You didn't remember that? Yeah.
You know what just really creeped me out?
What?
Is that I was in a Chrysler, which is what I was in when we got hit in the minivan.
Well, you should probably never drive a Chrysler.
I don't think I will. And it's really super creepy when you think about that, because I almost got a Chrysler a couple months ago, but instead I got a Nissan. Don't even get me started on
That's
the
the
Nissan.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Welcome to the scary door.
Well, I mean, the Nissan has been great, but tomorrow I got to replace its fucking windshield. Thank you, Rock, and not Dwayne Johnson, who will be talked about later.
Well, I guess that's a good enough point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other instances where I felt. Oh, I got pushed. We were playing hide and seek. Bugs everywhere.
It's fine.
We were playing hide and seek.
I think I swallowed a fly like a couple hours ago. Lightning bug. I want to get an X-ray of my stomach and see if it's lighting up.
So we were playing hide and seek when I was a kid, and I believe it was probably around maybe 6th grade, something like that. I was hiding in the closet. Oh my god, make all the gay jokes in the world, you guys. I was hiding in the closet, and the kid ran in, opened the closet, said, "Gotcha!" and pushes me with the force of 8 million exploding suns. I fall backwards into a glass-framed Power Rangers poster, and it pokes me in the side and cuts me probably about 3 inches deep. Thankfully, I'm a fat child at this point.
No, you should have seen me.
You or me, no you. And
I was monstrous.
I grab my side and I'm like, yeah, I gotta go home, guys. And I go home and I tell my mom, like, yeah, I just got a cut on my side. And my mom's like, oh, well, let me see it. And I take my hand off. She's like, oh my god! Oh my god, what happened? And then we obviously rush to the emergency room.
Blood?
I start going into shock and throwing up everywhere.
Jesus, dude. No, I don't remember this.
Yeah, you weren't around. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
This was probably about, let's see, 6th grade, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 5 years before I met you. So yeah, I've got a scar on my side, but you can't tell anymore because I've got stretch marks because I'm fatty.
I've got stretch marks everywhere. It's weird that we were getting smaller, but we still have the stretch marks to remind us of the times that we were not active and not eating properly.
That's what happens.
Dude, I was just thinking about, like, in 5th grade, when it was, like, acceptable for me to, I'll have a number 1 biggie size with a root beer, Barks root beer, and the number 1, I don't know if it still is, but it would be a Big Mac and a Biggie Fry. I'm in 5th grade.
My favorite was when Domino's first came out with the 777 deal. And was it medium 1 toppings or large 1? I don't remember. But it was a whole pizza with 1 topping. My dad would get pepperoni, my mom would get pepperoni and green pepper, and I would obviously get pepperoni like every other normal American child. And
I'm sorry, what?
I would sit down.
Every
other normal American child. We're not talking about people from the north.
Oh, shit. So what you're trying to say
We're talking about commercialized pizza. We're not talking about people who are actually authentic pizza eaters.
If you have a problem with sausage as a topping, we can take this back outside. I can crack my skull again, probably become paralyzed, and throw my life away.
You know, skull crack is a magic card.
Skull crack?
Skull crack is a magic card.
The skull crushing finale. Please continue your story about pepperoni.
So anyways,
I'm just a little slightly biased now.
No. See, the thing is, if you look up any study, pepperoni pizza is the favorite pizza of America. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Sorry to hurt your feelings.
It's not even a hurting.
And I would sit
feelings.
down. I am a teenager. I'm a big fat teenager, just stuffing my face with a whole pizza, and that is not good. That's what. I think they're like 4,000 calories a piece. That's insane.
Jesus. I remember
going back to think about that now, and now I'm eating like 2,400 calories a day.
I used to get so wet when we would get stuffed crust pizza, and I still do, which is why usually on my cheat day I will try and eat it whole by myself. But throughout the rest of the week we eat pretty good, but we had that one day. But yeah, man, there's been some times where I was seriously concerned about my life. Just ending, and I'm happy I'm okay.
The point, I think, I guess it ties into it where you're worried about your life ending. When I'm sitting around at 298 pounds playing video games and my heart just starts fluttering, yeah, that's at the point where you got to realize shit's got to change. Thankfully, I'm down to 221 now.
You're looking really good.
Nah,
I think
you're looking good, bro.
I'm not looking good.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll never take a compliment. You guys know this. Another time that I almost killed myself, or something could have gone drastically wrong. We were in our apartment. It was probably back 2009, and it was Saturday night. SNL was on, and it was terrible as usual. My fiance was sleeping, and I was cleaning the apartment because we had a studio, but it was big. But there was like a lot of it was scattered, And there was looking back, it's like, why would this ever be a good idea? Thank God I'm alive. But there was a whole bunch of cords on the computer entertainment stand. They're all tangled up, right? And there's like a subwoofer cord, and I don't even know what else. But I do remember the subwoofer cord was tangled up in all these wires. So I thought this would be a great idea. I don't even know. I want to hope I did unplug it. But it was so tangled up, I didn't decide, let's just untangle this. No. I took a pair of scissors, and I cut the cord, and it went boosh. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and the whole room just flooded with light, and this thunderous, you would have thought like a pyro just exploded in the living room. And my fiance went, whoa, 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 in her sleep, and I was like, holy shit, I'm alive. Oh my god. Oh my god. A normal person would stop there, right? I never told you this? I never told you this shit? A normal person would be like, alright, I just defied the law of life and death. Let's stop right now. However, I thought it was the coolest shit ever. So, I took the scissor, I took the cord, and I cut it again. And it went boosh. This time, she woke up. And again, I was like, thank God I'm alive. And she's like, oh, what's that sound? I'm like, the room just exploded. That's what the sound was. Thank God I'm alive.
Oh,
yeah. So
I'm crying so hard.
If I ever have to clean my house again, I don't think I'm just gonna be cutting live wires with scissors. There's just, I don't know, that might not be a good idea. Might not.
One time, when I used to play music, sorry everyone for the snot sounds and the tears.
Well, I thought I told you that story.
No, you never told me that before.
Yeah.
One time, I used to not have a good amplifier, so I would have to make my own guitar amplifiers. I would go buy big speakers, or I would find big speakers on the side of the road, and hook them up to a really crappy $50 amplifier. Obviously, everybody in their right mind, anybody who's even slightly intelligent knows it doesn't make that much of a difference. It's not that much louder, just because you have a bigger speaker. So, one time I'm at a friend's house, and my left pinky doesn't quite work right. It kind of just doesn't flange open. Go ahead and tell them about how my pinky doesn't flange open right.
What the fuck is that?
You never knew that?
No.
Yeah, my left pinky doesn't flange open.
That's disgusting.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
So, my left pinky is more or less perpetually curled at all times, and I go to grab the amplifier on top of the speaker, and it's plugged in. It's not supposed to be plugged in, somebody plugged it in. So it starts shocking me, and I'm just like, and I throw it down somehow and turn around, because at first I thought someone was grabbing me from behind and shaking me, because that's what it felt like. That's how stupid I was when I was 14.
Wow.
That's one of the other times I was fearful of my life.
Yeah, but to your credit, you did that when you were 14. I almost exploded myself when I was
at the ripe age of 22.
About 20, 22. I don't know. I was really, really dumb. Oh my gosh.
Well,
yeah. That reminds me of the time when you said, if I'm ever electrocuted, run at me, but don't touch me. Just shoulder block me as hard as you can and push me out of the way. So about a week later, after you give me this advice, right, I thought that you were being electrocuted. So I decide to run out of the room and say, okay, I'm out, bye. Because I thought you were being legit. That was how I reacted to you being electrocuted.
Yeah.
I'm literally,
I remember.
I'm probably, you're welcome, man. I was going to go get help. I'm the worst person that you can have if you are in serious need of anything, any attention. If you start choking, I'll walk next door and get help. You start getting electrocuted, I will go find the source of the power and unplug it. If you set yourself on fire, I will go find a garden hose and I'll come back. I'll figure it out. But you don't want me around if you're dying, I'll tell you that.
I'm trying to think of any other times. Give me 1 second.
What is that over there? Oh my god, is that...
Okay, we're good. I was just making sure we're not having recording problems here. No, that's not a firefly. What were we talking about here?
We're talking about times that we've almost killed ourselves.
Okay, no, I thought you had something else to contribute.
No, I am good. right now.
Okay. Should I tell about the time my tonsils exploded?
Yes, please, because that's the one that we were talking about, and I want to hear it.
So, I was in probably about 3rd grade. My dad will tell you, I don't know, obviously you can tell from my demeanor I don't have a super exciting voice or anything like that. I'm never super excited about anything. Mike is.
What do you mean I get super excited?
I'm usually the calm, cool one. When stuff happens, I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
I usually lose my shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
Thank you.
So I'm usually just stone-faced most of the time. But there are times where my true character, bright and colorful, comes out. So that's why it's even scared my parents when I'm looking frightful and I'm scared out of my mind. That in 3rd or 4th grade, I woke up and I had a little bit of blood just coming out of my mouth. And I'm having a little bit of trouble breathing. I'm like, okay, yeah, I might be sick. My parents were like, oh, you're just sick. It'll be fine. You're going to school today.
This is already terrifying.
So I go to the kitchen sink and I'm trying to get some water, and then I start throwing up blood.
My face right now, because you already had me hooked when you said, well, I woke up and there's a little bit of blood coming out of my mouth. Dude, I would have been
because they were thinking I bit my lip or something in my sleep.
Oh, but you threw up blood?
Yeah, I started throwing up, I would say probably about a half gallon of blood.
What are you talking about, a half gallon of blood?
Somewhere around there. I don't know. It was a lot of blood. I just started throwing up blood. I'm pulling out like chunks of meat from my throat because I can't breathe. What? And I'm just throwing up blood everywhere. And my mom, obviously my mom's like, you're going to school today.
Wait,
and then,
what are you,
hold on, before the throwing up of the blood.
Okay.
And my dad stops and turns to her, and she's like, he said to her, he's throwing up blood. We got to go to the hospital. And I'm just, I'm in the back seat of the car laying down, into a bunch of like rags and blankets, shirts and crap. And we get to the hospital. And my parents tell everybody at the front desk, our son's throwing up blood, we need emergency service right now. And everybody's obviously behind the counter is like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take care of this guy immediately. So I get back there, and I'm still blood everywhere, and I'm still pulling out chunks of meat from my throat. We have no idea what's wrong. Everybody's obviously in my family is just in straight panic mode that I'm going to die. And my grandpa didn't want to see me like that. Like, everybody in my family came to see me, so obviously, in my mind, reflecting, they probably all thought I was about to die.
How long were you there doing this?
I don't know.
People came to see you doing it. That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, it's my sister.
That's prolonged.
I think, and then I don't think my sister was there. I know it was my mom and dad. Like, this is back when I was in the back, and I was on the gurney, and I have the thing on my chest, the gown.
Man.
I have the gown, and they're explaining to me what they're about to do. They're like, well, determining from the blood test, blah, 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 we believe something has happened in your throat. We're going to, and I can still talk fine at this point.
So you're just talking fine, but every time
I'm talking fine, but I'm just like occasionally throwing up blood, and
that's like a bad X-Man.
Oh, I know, right? What would hematoma?
Yeah.
So they're explaining.
I'll get you, Charles Xavier, and your X-Men.
So he shoots blood lasers instead of eye lasers, right out of his mouth and ass.
Plasma blast.
So I'm starting to like get pale and stuff. And I'm getting scared. I'm never, even as a kid, I was kind of stone tough. Always had that look on my face where I was like, yeah, I'm ready for anything. And I'm just scared out of my mind. I'm like, I'm going to die. And I'm just a kid. I'm going to die. Yeah, it's 33 minutes, Mike. Thanks for hitting your microphone.
Sorry, don't worry
Stealing
about
the thunder out of my story.
No, dude.
So a doctor comes and talks to me. He's like,
Your
well,
time.
we're going to go ahead. We're going to put you under anesthesia. And we're going to go ahead and take you to the operating room. And we're going to see what's going on. And I will tell you guys right now, I remember them giving me the countdown backwards from the anesthesia and wheeling me into the operating room, and I see all the lights in the operating room, and I'm just slowly like fading into death. And I wake up. That's my memory. I immediately fell asleep, and then I woke right back up, laying in the hospital. My dad's there. I'm pretty sure my mom was in the room. And they explain what happened. One of my tonsils ruptured in my sleep, and all the blood drained into my stomach.
No, they didn't. That's really scary, and you handled that so well.
The scariest part was one of my tonsils ruptured, and the other one was still so big that it was almost blocking the airway.
Oh my god!
And that one was probably ready to burst too. It was such a large tonsil that they took it into a jar, and they still have it on file at whatever hospital that because they've never in that hospital's history. I think I was I was taken to Riverside, and they had never had an occurrence of someone's tonsils rupturing in their sleep, ever. And I hope that goes on till this day, so I can be the only human being that has ever had that happen.
Do you want to go see if they still have it in a jar or something?
That's a moot point. It's pointless.
I think
It turns out the only people in history that have ever had this recorded happening to them was like a French royal family.
Of course.
Yeah, that makes me feel great. French family. That's royal. Awesome. I'm such a cool guy.
Freedom fries all day, every day.
Freedom fries, baby. Freedom fries.
I want some freedom.
Oh, I do too. But yeah, so that's my story of my tonsils rupturing in my sleep. I didn't even say rupturing right because I'm still not breathing properly.
If I was your parents, if I was both of your parents, I would be horrified. What you just told me just makes me not ever want to have kids ever. But then it's just like, not only could that just happen to my kids, and then I have to deal with the stress of, is he going to make it? What's wrong? That could happen to me. And it's like, still.
Yeah,
it's...
I mean, that's one of those things where, I mean, I legitimately thought I was going to die.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's kind of like whatever.
I always, as I get older, I really do worry about my tonsils, because usually when I get sick, my throat gets sore.
No, you don't even have to, I don't think you understand how inflamed my tonsils were.
No, I'm not discounting that. I know it was insane. But I worry about, like, because I usually I get strep often. And, I've had pharyngitis a couple times. Once, I had pharyngitis once because me and a friend, this happened twice. Me and a girl shared, separate girls too. Me and a girl shared a drink from a Taco Bell cup. A couple days later, pharyngitis. So, alright, whatever.
I call it mono. I never tell you about the time I caught mono?
No. And I think that this episode is just going to be weird stuff that's happened to us in our childhood. Because that's why I was looking over there. I did not want to steal your thunder,
Oh, God,
man.
I've still got more to the story.
Well, that's why I say, let's just...
Okay, keep going, because I'm going to go back to... I'm going back to the tonsil story. Keep going.
Yeah, but dude. So another time, another girl, I share a drink from her. I see her at school. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Oh, hey, how are you doing? Hey, you want to have a sip of my Arizona tea? Yeah, sure. Well, pharyngitis. So, don't share glasses with
All right, so back to the tonsil story real quick, because there's some aftermath. I completely forgot about the aftermath. I can't walk for shit because I still have the anesthesia in my blood when I'm coming out. And it was the coolest thing in the history of mankind. I don't think you people can even begin to understand what happened after I wake up and I come to. I am laying in a hospital bed for several days. It wasn't that long, but it was long enough. And cartoons are on TV constantly. And someone came in and asked at some point. I had an N64 at this point, so that might date. I gotta look back and remember what the exact year this was. But I had a Nintendo 64 at home.
Like 96.
So I had N64 games at home. So this, I guess it was a nurse, came in and said, "Hey, do you want to go ahead and play some video games?" I'm like, I can't say anything, I can't talk, can't breathe right. And they bring in this mobile cart, and it's decorated on the side with like big Midway stickers and all this kinds of stuff.
What?
And they push it in, and it's a television hooked up to a Nintendo 64, and I got to play the jet skiing game.
Ooh.
For hours.
That's almost like the price of admission, right?
It was almost the price of dying and bleeding out. And then my dad went home and he asked me a question, and this is how out of it I am. It's still at this point. I don't remember what he asked. I just nodded, and he comes back and he brings NFL Blitz for me.
Oh.
He brought NFL Blitz for me, and I was playing NFL Blitz.
I mean, if you're gonna be in the hospital, do it in style. N64, NFL Blitz. NFL Blitz, I could play it right now, and it would still be as much fun as when it first came out. That game was so incredible. Like, that's how you do a good football game.
Anyway, so I eventually get released from the hopsicle, and I'm taken home, and I get to lay on the big comfy couch for several days recuperating.
Milking it. I'm just.
I wasn't even milking
I'm
it.
joking.
Like literally, when I first regained the ability to talk,
I sounded like this.
for realsies, that's what I sounded like.
No, I'm not even. I'm just joking. I know for a fact from everything you just described to me is that's probably the most severe injury that's legit life threatening. If that thing would have blocked your air passage, you could have and
should have died. Yes.
I'm
realistically
not even
speaking,
going
I
to
should
say
have.
that.
I should have died from bleeding out in my sleep.
Oh my
But-
god, that's so scary.
Why?
I think about just. I don't know.
I mean, life and death are more or less kind of the same thing
this is true.
because they lead into. Yeah. But no life without death, no death without life. So I'm laying on the couch and I get to watch cartoons constantly, and we had dial-up internet. Ugh. And I got to go into the Cartoon Network website, and I got to play. I'm pretty sure they still have them on the website. The Cartoon Network Summer Resort games, and you got to play as a character, and you had to go through and find pieces of you had to find tennis racket. It was more like an RPG. It was a top-down RPG.
Yeah, but those flash games are really fun on those
yes, when you're playing I had a.
Especially you're probably messed up on pills. And
You
stuff,
know
too.
what? It had to be probably 1998 because we had a Windows 98 and it was brand new.
Windows 98.
Yeah, and I was eating blue Jello, and then I just started throwing up blue Jello everywhere, and I was like, "Oh my god, here it goes all over again."
Yeah, dude, but blue Jello is better than blood and meat from your throat.
Yeah, you're right.
So
But I believe that's. Oh, and when I finally started recovering, someone said something about having picture-in-picture on the TV, and I was like, "We can do that on the TV." And they're like, "Oh, you're trying to talk now," and I was like,
I love how technology brought you back to life.
"Yeah,
As it usually does me. But that's intense, man. I'm just happy you're okay.
I was supposed to be born paralyzed, unable to breathe or talk.
What?
Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Yeah, when I was in the womb, when they were doing the ultrasounds, my spine was protruding out of my back,
Oh.
and I was supposed to not be able to walk, talk, breathe, etc., etc.
Dude, in my mind, I just picture you as baby Gollum or something.
Yeah, that's more or less.
Oh, that's cute.
I know it's a statistical miracle that we're all here today.
Especially you, multiple times. I'm happy you're okay. I've never had anything I don't even.
Oh, and
know.
I was born with jaundice, so my eyes were yellow.
Christ, dude.
My eyes were yellow when I was born.
I think I was sick or something a couple months ago, and my eyes turned yellow, and I thought I had jaundice. It was when it was in April but they didn't turn yellow. They turned just straight red. WrestleMania when we went to Atlantic City, I had strep again. I was drinking heavily every day, Jaeger, vodka, Red Bulls, all this stuff because if you have a best friend who's Colombian, you're probably gonna drink when it's time to celebrate. So we were just throwing stuff down every day, but I had this strep throat. And then, of course, I was taking ibuprofen because I thought, if I'm going to be drinking, and I shouldn't even be mixing pills, but I should at least take something for my throat and the pain, and I had a headache and fever and stuff. And then I lost my voice. So I had strep throat, fevers, drunk for 4 days, but I'm taking this ibuprofen to try and help offset the pain. And now my voice is gone. And then my voice didn't come back for at least 2 weeks. And I realized, I learned later on that because I was taking the ibuprofen, I was actually making it worse for my voice to come back. But
Yeah.
it just reminded me of that because I thought I was having jaundice, and I didn't.
I was also born a month premature,
Get it out.
and I was still 9 pounds 8 ounces.
My stories don't even compare to your stories. My stories were I got really fucked up for 3 days, and I took ibuprofen and I lost my voice.
Did I ever tell you about the time I had to get stitches in the back of my head and I was concussed?
No.
Someone was pulling. Once again, I was a child. Someone was pulling me around in a wagon, and we hit a root, and I got popped out of the wagon. I fell backwards with all the force to the back of my head. I didn't have white flashes or anything, and I hit my head on a tree root, and it busted my head open.
Jesus Christ.
And I started bleeding everywhere. I just ran off crying. Ah, my head. I went inside, and my parents were like, "Yep, well, it looks like we got to go to the hospital again for this kid to get him more stitches."
At least they were happy about it, though. They were happy that they gotta make sure you're okay.
Yeah, you got to justify it. Oh yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
So I go.
You ever use that line?
What?
At least I'm still alive. To
No.
get out of trouble.
No.
I backed my mom's Pathfinder into your telephone.
At least
pole,
I realize okay.
and my dad was furious, obviously. And then it was like it was barely a year old, and he's yelling at me, as he should have been, because I backed into a telephone pole like an asshole, and the back bumper was hanging off, and I take it home, and he's yelling at me. Then I bust out the, well, at least I'm okay. At least I'm still alive. And then he's like,
It takes him down like 18 notches.
yeah, he's like, well, I guess you're right.
You're right.
That if you ever get into a situation, use that one. It's golden.
Yeah. So they had to shave my head, gave me stitches, and then it got me. I'm gonna pull a mic, guys. In gym, they were doing forward rolls, and I couldn't do them.
Did you milk it?
So I got to milk it, and I was like, I can't do forward rolls, guys. That's right, I got stitches in the back of my head.
N-O-G-G-I-N, noggin.
Yeah, but they also told me not to go to sleep for several hours after I got the. Yeah, so I had to stay up for a long time.
Man.
I've got more injury stories.
I don't even think
I've got two more off the top of my head.
I've got a fake injury story. One time, my mom thought that she ran over my foot. She literally probably was a couple inches away from my foot. She was in like a Jeep Liberty. And I sold it as if she did. And I pretended that she did run over my foot. And I started crying, went in the house, and I milked it. And just recently, too, like, I think last week, she was like, remember that time I ran over your foot? I'm like, you never ran over my foot, Mom. It's been 10 years. I told her just the other day. I felt like a complete dick. I was like, Mom, you never ran over my foot. I was faking it. She's like, no, I ran over your foot. I'm like, okay, Mom, you ran over my foot, sure. But she really thinks, in her heart of hearts, that she ran over my foot.
To this day.
To this 10 years later. She really thinks that she ran over my foot. I didn't have the heart to, like, just beat home the fact. No, I faked it because I'm obsessed with pro wrestling, so when things happen to me and it would hurt a normal person, it hurts me 10 times more because I want the attention.
So there's this one time, you remember, I'm pretty sure everybody out here remembers Razor scooters.
Ooh.
Oh, my God, they were
The bane of, like, the late teenage years. Really.
Yeah. They, well, I didn't have a Razor. I had to get one that was bigger because my feet were too big to fit on a regular-sized Razor. So I got like an off-brand, but it was way better than a Razor in my opinion. So, that's digressing.
We don't digress here.
I'm riding my...
We live gress.
I'm riding my fake Razor down the side of the road because I'm doing I used to race, and I would keep track of how many seconds it would take me to ride around my neighborhood. And I'm going as fast as I possibly can with my fat little chubby ass, with my fat little chubby legs pushing me as hard as I can.
You see Bobby Hill on a Razor scooter.
Yeah, Bobby Hill on a Razor scooter. So I'm pushing, and I go across my neighbor's front, like their driveway, and there's gravel there.
Whoa.
So I hit the gravel, like start fishtailing, and I flip over the handlebars of my scooter, and I hit my knee on the sidewalk, and my knee just busts open and starts bleeding everywhere.
My God.
And I'm hobbling back into my house. Dad, my knee's busted. Gotta go to the hospital. Oh, we're gonna take this kid to the hospital. Need more stitches.
You've been to the hospital more times than... I mean, I've only gone... Gee, I went, like, that one time I closed the garage on my hand, and then another time, because I thought, like, I had, like, serious stomach problems, because,
The doctor had her whole hand up your ass?
that did happen. It was a really
And she was staring into your
ridiculous-
eyes tenderly?
Dude, that was such a weird... Like, I don't even know, every day at the beginning of school, I had to just take a massive duke, and I was like, there's something weird here. Like, these dukes are, like, on a time schedule. I mean, now, I guess that's normal, because I duke usually every day at the same time. But I was like, Mom, I'm not going to school today. Let's go to the doctor. So I went to, like, urgent care or something, because my stomach was really bad. But everything came out okay, but they had to get me tested. So they went to get me checked anally by this doctor, and she was a really cute doctor. And she was like, well, just lie up here on this table, and I'll just check and make sure you're okay. And she put a glove on her hand. I was lying down on my side. She looked longingly into my eyes, and my eyes locked onto
Like you're a
hers.
forlorn love or something?
It was like we were meant to be together. At this moment, I realized I'm lying on this table half naked with this hospital gown on, that this is my soulmate, and this is going to be the moment that we lock lips. But instead, she takes her gloved hand and sticks it up my ass, and she starts feeling around while she's looking longingly into my eyes, and I'm like, oh, this is a new sensation I'm not quite familiar with, nor do I really appreciate. But at this point, our eyes are still intimately locked, and I just don't know what to do. So I let her just have her way at my ass with her hand, and she's like, "Okay, you're good. Nothing wrong there." Takes her hand out of my ass with the glove. Takes the glove off. Her other hand throws the glove out, leaves the room. Now, my mind never did properly add up the fact that she never washed her hands after her hand left my ass. Because I know the things that have come out of my ass that she had to have touched some kind of particles of, but she didn't give a fuck. And so that was the time I was glove raped by my doctor. But at least my ass was good, and I didn't have to get like, what's that thing where they just the first
colonoscopy.
Yeah, the first couple syllables of that shit just sent shockwaves through my spine. Say it again.
Colonoscopy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have to get that.
I've got another story where I had to go to the hospital, and it still kind of holds true today. I think my senior... No, it wasn't my senior. It was 9th grade. I started losing feeling in my hands and feet randomly, and I couldn't sleep at night. I'm assuming it's because I was just so fat and massive. I couldn't sleep at night because I would wake up and my heart would be like beating super hard. I would lose feeling in my hands and feet, and my pupils would super dilate, and they wouldn't react to light. But everything else was fine. I was, So obviously we have to go to the hospital, and we're getting checked out. One of the doctors comes in. He's like, "Well, here's let me test your eyes real quick." No, they're not dilating right. He leaves the room, and he starts talking to another doctor. And one of the doctors down the hall says, "Well, is the kid on drugs?" And my mom just like lost her shit.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not on drugs. As stupid as we act,
The thing is, people always assume that I was a massive pothead and would always offer me like weed, and I would just be like, I don't.
No,
smoke.
dude, I don't do that.
And then their faces when they realized I didn't smoke pot.
So, anyways, obviously they recommend, well, you can go see this endocrinologist, but before that, we're going to go ahead and send you this guy who's going to test your nerves, and he's going to send electronic pulses through your body. He's going to measure them. They did a CAT scan of my head. Everything came back fine. The electrical pulses came back fine. And it was they were going to send me to like the hormone therapist. And my parents were like, "No, that's completely stupid. That doesn't make any sense. If everything goes back fine, it's fine." And more or less, it went away after like 2 months. And till this day, I'm perfectly fine. But I think Mike can attest to this when I say, "Hey, look at my pupils," and they're still like really big sometimes for no reason. Like, I don't know if you...
I will take that in consideration. Next
Okay,
time I look.
okay. But yeah, my pupils are still really big sometimes for absolutely no reason. Another hospital story for you real quick. During graduation, I caught some sort of odd bug, and I broke out into splotches all over my body. I couldn't breathe right. I was vomiting.
I don't even remember this.
Yes, it's completely absurd that I don't really get sick anymore nowadays, but I used to get, like, messed up.
You had, like, a pseudo-terminal, like, childhood there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why, up to this point, you would think I'd be like, "Oh my god, the gods are watching over me. Praise the Lord." But
it's probably like they're like, "Okay, this man has had enough of our bullshit. Let's give him a clean bill of health for, like, 50 years. And occasionally you'll get a little bit of cold or something.
So, blotches all over me, vomiting. I had a temperature of like 104. We go to the hospital. They do my blood work. All the blood work comes back fine. They're like, "Yeah, you probably just have like a summer flu or something." I was like, "Well, I've got graduation in 3 days." And they're like, "Well, you'll be okay. Just drink a whole bunch of fluids." So I show up for my graduation practice, and I'm paler than Seamus. And I'm just like, "Oh my god, I'm going to vomit on this guy next to me." And
they took graduation practice way too fucking seriously.
It's Bethel. I don't understand. Like, you know how hard it was to graduate from Bethel? We graduated from Bethel.
I skipped 9 weeks of school.
He skipped 9 weeks of school, folks. So, obviously, graduation day comes, and now it's on tape. I wish I could go back. I'm pretty sure I can go into the archives and...
Well, I guess I skipped 9 weeks of a class. That was an elective. But yeah.
So, yeah, I wish I can go back to 2007 Bethel graduation and see how pale I am. I'm sure there's DVDs and tapes out there, but I'm pretty sure we'll come across that at some point. I don't think there's any other hospital or life-threatening things that I've ever...
I don't even know if I've ever anything else that I faked. There was, jeez, I can't think of
Oh,
anything.
God. Yes! One time I was getting some snacks out of our hutch, and our hutch was like 15 feet tall, and I pulled on the door, and it fell on me.
Dude, when was this?
I was real little, like 6 maybe.
Why don't we just start racking up our injuries and have 2 columns, and one says non-life-threatening, and another one's just going to say life-threatening. And at the end of the year, we'll compare, and who's ever has more life-threatening injuries.
We can go to
we'll win.
we can go to like frozen yogurt and the winner.
The winner buys.
The winner buys, because that makes any sense.
Yeah, the winner buys. Whoever almost dies the most times has to buy yogurt for the other person at the end of the year. I think that's
thankfully, the hutch started falling on me, and I fell backwards, and I was like, my life is over. And there's a table behind me, and we're talking about an oak hutch here. It's heavy, and it falls and hits the table behind me, and it stays like how you would put a ladder against a wall, and somehow I walk away unscathed, but snack-free at the same time, so I was still upset.
That's the worst.
I also almost choked to death on a piece of cheese one time. My parents told me about that one.
How?
Because I was little, and I had a piece of cheese. Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
I don't think there's anything...
There was one time I was in central New York, up in Utica, and it was snowing, and I was on the Parkway, and I guess what do they call it, the arterial, whatever, and the car at the time I was driving a Kia, keep it away, and the roads were really slick, and I think I was going the actual speed limit, especially for when you're in snow, especially when you're upstate New York, which is like a whole nother level of snow. But it was sticking pretty good, and I was driving home, and the car spun out. So I was just there sideways, and I saw oncoming traffic coming at me, and I was just preparing to get hit and just be done. Because if anything would have hit me probably right in the side of me on my driver's side door, and I thought I was done for. Somehow, thankfully, everyone was able to brake. So no, I mean that wasn't like anything happened, but the imminent danger of something terrible happening, chalk that one up in the non-life-threatening column. Maybe the shitting myself column, which I need to make a column for that because there's a lot of times where I almost did.
There was this one, another quick one I just remembered. We've only got 2.5 minutes left here, I believe, till we hit our hour mark, unless my math is off. It usually is because I'm retarded.
No, you.
Me or you?
Me.
So,
definitely me.
There was this, I don't know if you guys remember, obviously no one's going to remember.
Chalk Zone?
There was a Carnival cruise ship that came back into port here in Newport News back around when Whose Line Is It Anyway started having new episodes with the black guy, white guy, etc., etc.
I hate to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But guess what just started new episodes last night?
Shut up. Shut up. So, the Carnival cruise ship brought in some sort of terrible, like, poop yourself vomit flu, and I had the poop yourself vomit flu for, like, 2 weeks, and every time I had to go take a shit, I vomited, and every time I had to go vomit, I took a shit. So the first night I had this, I was like, oh, my stomach hurts really bad, I guess I just gotta throw up. So I start going, blah, and at the same time I start going, blah, and I started shitting my pants. So the way to counteract this was you had to sit down on the toilet, and you had to hold the trash can in front of your face while you're pooping and vomiting at the same time.
It's a fate worse than death.
No, death is what's still way worse, because it was fun as hell, because I had to eat crackers and got to watch brand new episodes of Who Line Is It Anyway?
Wow.
Jeez.
We could be watching brand new episodes of Who Lies in It.
But it's got that fat guy on it.
Yeah, but it's also got Aisha Tyler, and she's so... But it's also got Wayne Brady.
Yeah.
I love Wayne Brady.
But Wayne Brady was in the old episodes.
Yeah, he's in the new ones too.
Yeah.
You don't like... Who's the fat guy you don't like?
The fat black guy.
I don't know who that is. But it has the old guy with the bald head again, right?
Yeah.
That guy's
I
pretty funny.
believe it might not.
I think so.
Well, we got 45 seconds left here before we hit the hour mark. Is there anything you'd like to...
I just want to say, if anyone's got any stories of them being in imminent danger from their childhood, from their adulthood, from yesterday, or any stories that they would like to share, please share with us.
Go ahead and give us some ideas for topics, because we're obviously open to any kind of topic. Because we were supposed to talk about movies tonight. Obviously, that didn't happen.
That'll be changed to another episode. But we never know what we're going to talk about until we just sit down and we just start shooting shit and we hit record. So if you have anything that you want to hear us talk about, please, by all means, suggestions.
We got 10 seconds left. Anything you want to tell the audience?
I think this has been a fun show, and thanks for doing it with me, bro.
Yeah.
Happy you're alive. Shit yourself, vomit flu, Jesus.